talk about UFC 300 and are we wasting Jamahal Hill versus Alex Pereira on this card? Now, granted, they're the main event, but this card is already jam-packed with so many different fights and stories that we're overlooking what this fight needs to do on its own. Hey, what's going on, fight fans? Hey, this is Coach D, the Wild Man, coming at you again with another episode of Coach D Media. Now, you know how I do with Coach D Media. I talk about all things combat sports related, from the highs to the lows. All right, let's go ahead and get back into it. Today, we're going to talk about UFC 300 and are we wasting Jamahal Hill versus Alex Pereira on this card? Now, granted, they're the main event, but this card is already jam-packed with so many different fights and stories that we're overlooking what this fight needs to do on its own. It don't need to be the top of an already star-filled card. You know what I'm saying? So we're basically wasting it. What do you think fight fans can consume these many stories when we have a goldfish TikTok mentality where we want to go story after story after story after story? We can't embrace this much and go, oh, we got it all. No, you're not going to get it all. You're going to overload this story between Jamahal Hill coming back, going back to regain his belt, right, against Alex Pereira. It's a major story in itself. Why are we just slapping it on the top of UFC 300? To me, it's disrespectful. And granted, freaking Jamahal Hill is the one selling this card. He's the one doing the media tour. I haven't heard Alex Pereira say anything. You may see some pictures. I can't find a YouTube interview yet. Jamahal Hill got his own podcast that he's doing. He's talking about the fights and what's going on. He said, I'm back, yada, yada, yada. I just saw a couple of interviews he just did. So he's making the rounds. Alex, I guess because Alex the star, he don't have to make no daggone rounds. Right? The UFC ain't selling this far. It's not on embed or anything that I've seen because it's a last minute thing. You don't even got time to put this shit together. But yet you want to say, hey, this is the top of the card. This is the main event. This is the big deal. This is the one that already wants. And don't get me wrong. Nobody's saying it's a shitty fight. Everybody's saying it's a good fight, right? But like I said, we got too much going on. By the time we get to the main event, right, we're not going to be able to appreciate it if it's had its own attention by itself, that we can appreciate what's happening. Jamahal Hill has come off a freaking Achilles tear that should have ended his career. He's back in 8 or 9 months, right, to go ahead and reclaim what is rightfully his. That's a huge story to unpack and unfold. How many people know now what happened in this goldfish mentality? How many people know what happened to Jamahal Hill? A lot of people may not even know who he is. Now, all of a sudden, he's at the top of a UFC card. People are like, well, who's this guy? We understand who Alex is because he's been active. Who's Jamahal Hill? I don't know who this guy is. They got to go look him up, right? Because there's no embedded story on him. There's no story on him. So the average fan has to do homework, which they're not going to do. You see, so we're losing all that potential that we can do with this card being someplace else and not at the top of a stacked card, right? Now, the card is pretty daggone good with stars. What kind of fights we're going to have up for grabs. But the amount of money spent just on who these guys are. You got Wally Zhang, right? You know, Yan, I don't know how to say her last name. She's up and coming. She's doing pretty good, right? So that's a pretty solid card. I mean, pretty solid fight for the co-main. Pretty solid as far as fights go, right? Then you got Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway, who could easily have been a main event. Easily. That's the feature going for the BFF title, right? That's in itself still high level, especially with Max Holloway talking about he want to fight Topuria. That turns that shit around real quick and something interesting for fans to get behind. A lot of stories there. You see what I'm saying? Then who we got? Charles Oliveira, still trying to make his name, even though his name should already be made. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who Arman is, but like I say, 21-3, good record, right? Solid. You know, Charles is his own star, right? He could have easily been up there higher in the rank as far as the card goes. You see what I'm saying? Just those things I already said before. You know, who else? Aljamain Sterling trying to come back and rewrite the ship that he promote that. Rewrite the ship that he's been on, right? Since he lost the belt, all the kind of good stuff. People's already dismissing him. He's trying to get his name back. Calvin Kattar still trying to establish himself, right? And this makes a solid fight, right? If Calvin Kattar beats Aljamain Sterling, he's the next man. Is Aljamain Sterling can't beat Calvin Kattar, he's done. Another great story there. You see how much we going? Kobe Garbrandt versus Figueroa, good fight, right? Kobe Garbrandt, some people saying he's been done, should have been done. He on his comeback. You know, then we got Holly Holmes versus Kayla Harrison, right? We got that. There's so much going on. We're going to overlook how powerful the main event is. You see, that's all I'm saying. We're losing the importance of what the main event is supposed to be. The main event is supposed to carry the card, right? But without a story, without the build-up, without what makes it so great, we're losing that. So now we're watering down their fight. We're watering it down. I wasn't even taking Jamahal Hill serious because he was still coming off an injury. We didn't hear about no training camps. We didn't hear about, you know, he didn't have a tune-up fight. He didn't have nothing. He's right back into the main event against arguably one of the best fighters out there today was Alex Pereira. Come on. So if Alex beats the shit out of Jamahal Hill, what are we going to say? See, Jamahal Hill ain't ready for the top spot, even though he had the belt. He didn't lose it. He didn't get beat for it. He got injured. He's going to be out for a while, so they took the belt from him, right? So now you can easily say, hey, he wasn't ready to come back. He didn't have a full camp. You see how things you could say. But if you have time to tell everybody why this fight's supposed to be happening, it solves all those issues. Now we're not going to have all these questions if Jamahal Hill can't handle it. Now I give Jamahal Hill credit. He's selling his fight. He like, look, I'm back. I'm ready. I've been through all the doctors. The doctors did their daggone thing, but I had to go find that. The UFC didn't give it to me. I had to go find it. It's not on Embedded. It's not on all of the channels we look for to find out who's doing what and why it's so big. No, we found on an interview. I don't even know his name. He's part of the the ESPN shit. But I don't know who he is. Not like that. Not somebody of a title contender, main event status. He can't even get some of the top interviewers, the ones we all know. I mean, he don't like Ariel Helwani, so that's a wrap. But there's still other big names you could put in front of. You could put him in front of DC. You know what I'm saying? You could have put him in front of Mike Bisman. You could have put him in front of a lot of other podcasters to help boost, the ratings of where this should be as far as that particular fight is concerned, right? So like I said, it's a wasted fight on UFC 300. That's my bottom line take. It is a wasted fight. We're blowing it. The card was going to be as good as it's going to be, right? Yeah, we know Dana White trying to sell like it's gonna be the biggest thing ever seen. We have all these stars. Don't get me wrong, it's packed full of stars. I mean, no, it's packed full of great fighters with decent names and good records that are recognizable. Stars, I ain't gonna say all that. So I get the fans' problems. There's no stars on here. Alex Pereira is a star, right? That's about it. I don't know. Justin Gaethje is pretty good. Max Holloway is pretty good, right? But, like wow factor stars, no. So I think we're blowing it by putting this main event on this card, thinking it's going to bring UFC 300 to another level. I don't think so. I think you're just wasting this fight, making it the main event where it needs to have its own layout and rundown. We're blowing it, to me. Jamahal Hill sold this fight to me. I wasn't thinking that much about it. I was gonna watch it because I watch great fights, but there was none of the, oh my God, he's ready to do this daggone thing and reclaim his belt and be the man. I wasn't getting those vibes because he was just coming off a major serious injury, right? He sold me back on and go, okay, yeah, let me see if he is ready as he says he is. He know how to sell himself to make him seem like he a world beater. He back. He sold me very well. So shout out to Jamahal Hill for doing his daggone thing to kind of keep everybody in the know, because the UFC and Dana White ain't doing it. He had to do that shit on his own. So we'll see. But that's all I got, man. I had to get it out there. I was like, yeah, he needs some press. Let's go ahead and give it to him, right? Because that's what I do. This is Coach D doing what I'm doing, calling it like I see it, talking my share of shit. To hear from me again, peace out.